Go ahead and please call a roll.
Jay Daly,
He is absent, he's called off, he is at a medical appointment.
Doug Teagarden,
Present.
Zach Prescott.
Here.
Okay, no announcements. Treasury report, treasury report submitted on 1/11/2017 was incorrect. Provided treasury report is submitted for approval. We move
I
the,
move we approve the treasury report as revised.
I will second. Tell me if we talk too fast.
Okay, Doug Teagarden, how you vote?
Are there any questions? Anybody have any questions on the treasury report? Hearing none. Said,
Zach Prescott.
Yes.
yes. Okay, additions to the agenda. I am going to make a motion to add the following, I'll give you this, Tammy.
Okay.
Motion to add the following motion to the agenda, to authorize the chairman to execute a short-term contract for the position of interim water sewer plant operator, should the need arise, should become necessary, I guess. And the vote on the motion will not be on the vote on this is not on the motion, it is a vote to add it to the agenda. And I move that be added to the agenda.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Discussion? Seeing none?
Doug Teagarden,
Yes.
Zach Prescott.
Yes.
Public comment on items on the agenda. Seeing none? Hearing none? Old business, due to the resignation of Mike Curtis from Planning Commission, it's necessary to fill the vacancy. A legal advertisement for the position was placed, observed reporter. Terms are run the same as was held by Mike Curtis. Believed to be 2 years remaining. The exact length of the terms are in process of being calculated by the township solicitor. And motion to name is blank. We have received 2 applications, and I've had the opportunity to review both. So motion?
I'll make a motion to nominate Kathleen Gilmore.
Motion to appoint Kathleen Gilmore. Second?
I'll second. I mean,
You made a motion, I second. Okay. Discussion? Please call a roll.
I had a question. I didn't hear how many people actually,
We said there were 2.
2.
Go on.
2?
And who was the
We had the
second?
opportunity for questions on the agenda, we're moving on.
But we didn't have the question, since you didn't have,
We are moving on.
you did not say who you were actually putting in that spot, then we couldn't ask that question now, could we?
Go right ahead, ask your question.
Ask your question.
Make a comment.
I haven't signed this thing. It's hard for me to hear you, and your tone of voice is very hard to understand right now.
Well, go ahead.
Okay? I said, how many people? And then he answered my question too.
There are 2 applicants,
Who were they?
Kathleen Gilmore and yourself, you know.
Okay, I didn't know if you, I wanted to make sure you got mine, that's all.
I do have.
So that means that you also had got that thing for the hoop building.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah, we have had an opportunity to bring some.
okay, that's why I asked them.
Yeah. It was received, yes. Please call the roll.
How do you vote? Doug Teagarden,
Yes.
Zach Prescott.
Yes.
Motion to grant a departmental supervisor the authority to evaluate staffing and available funds. And, did I miss something?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Last item down there.
Okay. Background, general fund balance continues to drop, hitting a low last week of slightly more than $122,000. Motion to transfer $10,703.73 Act 13 funds to reimburse the general fund for road repair materials. I will move that be so.
I'll second.
How do you vote? Doug?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Can I ask a question on that, please?
We'll answer some questions at the end.
Okay.
Okay. Motion to grant each departmental supervisor the authority to evaluate staffing and available funds and to commence layoff procedures as they may deem necessary to protect the financial integrity of the township. They shall follow the terms and conditions of the respective labor agreements. I will so move.
I'll second.
Discussion?
None.
Doug, how do you vote?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Background. Police Department has reported an increase in number of calls, leaving less time for enforcement of township ordinances. Needs to be a plan to cover this need. Call for a motion to request a report from the Police Department as to options they may suggest to remedy this situation, including authorization to advertise for part-time hourly code officer.
That's your motion?
I'll so move.
Okay, I'll second.
Discussion?
How do you vote? Doug?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes. John wants to comment on that.
Go ahead, John.
Well, I submitted a plan, suggestion. I've already done this.
Okay.
We talked about that.
Okay.
You mean the one you talked to me about
Yes, sir.
concerning the constables that work?
I'm not seeing the plan.
Okay,
Okay, but I will go forward.
thank you.
Okay. Representative of inmate from Mark West coming.
No, he didn't stop by today.
Okay, they're requesting road bond agreements and, for Delashon, Old National, Wilhelm Valley, the same roads that, Columbia Midstream are.
Yeah,
Also
their
using-
their bond's still in place,
Okay.
and their escrow. They just need to.
We're not gonna take any action though,
Okay,
because they're not present.
right.
Okay, background, the Meadowlands Sportsman's Club is requesting the renewal of the campground permit under the same terms and conditions as previously done, with there being no fee. And the application is before us, and there are 20 spaces that they have requested. And John, they had 20 last year, is that what they had?
I believe so.
Were there any issues with them?
There's not been any issues.
I move that we grant the approval.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Yes.
Doug T. Gordon?
Yes. Okay, additions to the agenda. Get back to our motion as from before. Motion to authorize the chairman to be able to execute a short-term contract for the position of interim water sewer plant operator should it become necessary. So moved.
That's your motion. I'll
Yes.
second.
Under discussion, I don't think it's gonna be necessary, but if it is necessary, Chairman will have that authority under this motion. We also, I'm pretty sure that we could meet as an emergency situation, dealing with the health and welfare of the community. That's all I have.
Okay. How do you vote? Doug?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Okay. Any remarks for anything on the agenda for next meeting?
We need to talk about the police chief's contract.
Okay, well, that come down under executive session. Or we could set an executive session for a time to be in the future if you would like.
Okay, well, we need to do that.
Okay.
Whenever it's convenient for everybody to get together.
Okay. Public comment on non-agenda items. I would list, if you're interested in making a public comment, If you wanna raise your hand, I'll write down your name, then we'll get down through the list.
I just have
Darren,
one
no, I'm
question.
just taking your name at this point.
Say it again.
I'm taking
Just
your
taking your
name
name.
at this point.
Apparently, we
Okay.
changed how we're doing it again. You need Pam. Pam had a question.
Yeah, Pam, you should be first. You asked way before I did. Go ahead.
I'm retired, I got all evening. With, are you ready?
Is there anyone else? Okay, the 3 comments. Pam, go ahead.
I just had, looking over your agenda here, on the general funds.
Mhm,
Now, we've had a light winter,
mhm.
snow removal, extra fuel being used, et cetera, man hours going out. How are we doing on money cost-wise on that? Are we saving a little bit, or?
Yeah, of course, we're saving money on snow removal materials. I don't have the number here. I can tell you that payroll costs for the month of January is anticipated to be about a little over $39,000. That's per calculation here. We do have some earned income that we expecting to come in. Last year, we had about $74,000 come in the month of December, or excuse me, in January and February. We don't know how much is gonna come in. Right now, earned income is down for the current year, about $40,000. Insurance prices are up, of course, legal costs are up. Insurance is, legal costs, what else is it? Wages are up. Can't think of any other big items. We've already made some cuts.
Oh, okay, I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
we have
the
eliminated,
predicted cuts that were
we
gonna be
eliminated,
made are
we
kind of like
eliminated
slipping off.
the roadmaster position, has been eliminated at least temporarily. We have cut about $15,000 out of the trimming and freeze. We cut out some maintenance items in the buildings and so forth up at the other site. We have cut the police department, we cut the body cameras, which was about, I think it was about $6,000. Is that correct, Sean? About $8,000. $8,000 that was cut. So we've already made some sacrifices, and we're kind of at the point now, and we're not spending any unnecessary funds. We're kind of at the point that the only other item we have left is look at our labor. And, we're hoping if it doesn't drop any lower than we are right now, we're gonna be okay. But we're very close to the line where we're not gonna be okay. It's kind of, the budget doesn't drive itself, we have to drive the budget. We have to decide that, where we can cut, and obviously, we can't raise revenues, we don't have that ability. So, we have other funds, those funds are restricted funds. And, we can't spend items that, we would like to move more money out of Act 13 to pay for, materials, but we've already moved all the materials that we bought, we've done that. So, we're kind of limited on the options.
I have one other question, if I may. In the last write-ups, things that you handed out at the last meeting, there was things that could be taxed, or you have to get a permit to build, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
And I went through all those, which is good. The only thing I can see that's happening, and it personally happened to me, when they came out and did the assessment, they did the assessment on buildings that are freestanding and can be slid around. I got taxed on those. And I questioned that taxing, but they said to me, is it insured? Things kept in there, are they insured? And I said, yes. Maybe not that valuable, but still it's insured. They said, well, people are putting those kind of buildings in, and they're basically better looking than their house. And so they're taxing those pull-along buildings, or however you want to move buildings. I didn't see any of those listed on that information you handed out last time on things that you gotta get permits for and tax for. And those things are.
We submit permits to the county, on a regular basis, and whether or not it gets taxed is not a decision that the township makes. It's made at the county level, and we've had some disagreements with them about that.
Yeah, but
And we still have, waiting for a resolution on the one matter. Yeah, Principal Energy.
But should people, and like, again, I speak for myself, I said, yep, okay, they're taxable. But anybody pulling one in and using it for a garage or a big storage, should they be taxed on that? Should they register it with the town?
Well, if the building code requires a permit, we send those permits to the county. And we certainly can voice our opinion, but it's only an opinion
Okay.
that they don't have to follow, and they've told us that. Okay, and then lastly, we have, or two more, I guess. Darren, go ahead.
You know, one thing that she said, are they not going by square footage anymore?
Again, we.
But you don't know.
I don't know. We turn it over to the county. That's a decision that we're not charged with determining what's taxed.
Okay. What I was asking,
It's taxed.
do we, a code enforcement officer, who's our code enforcement officer?
The gentleman right back
What's
there.
Dr. Trubovich do?
It's the building code. There's a thing called the Uniform Building Code.
Boca.
Yeah, and he is trained to enforce that. That's way beyond my skill set.
Okay, so that means you just do the day-to-day if somebody wants a driveway permit, you go look at, or no, that would actually be the roadmaster, but I'm trying to think
Or the
of an
planning
example.
commission. Yeah, no, so, if, you put up a building and don't get a permit, you're required to. Right now, that falls on me.
Okay,
If you have trash on your property, right now, that falls on my office.
okay. I was just wondering, because I remember you'd asked me about a specific incident before, but I didn't know if that changed, because at one point, I think it was the last meeting when Dr. Trubovich's name come up, and I didn't know
He's
if
actually,
it, so he just, he's a building code inspector.
Yes.
He's not our official code inspector for the township.
he's not your, right.
Right, okay. And whenever the township took over the, okay, thank you. I didn't want to, you don't have to keep paying that, but thank you, one paying.
Okay.
That, we dissolved the water authority, and then it was up to you three supervisors, or three supervisors to try to run the water. Did you ever think of maybe going back to a water authority to be able to handle that?
I would never vote for that.
Okay, I just asked him.
Yeah, I would much rather entertain the thought of either maintaining it or selling it. My experience with authorities has not been good over the years.
That's all.
Once you appoint them, go ahead, Kathy.
Well, actually, I had a question on an agenda thing. This Middleland Sportsman's Club, it says that, you voted to give them their permit, but it says with no fees. Why do
Because
they not?
they don't rent out spots to
Yeah,
people.
they don't charge for
They
them.
don't charge,
okay,
it's not a
they're not-
for-profit.
Okay.
It's not for profit, and then so they'll use a very limited amount of time during the year. They made their case for it last year, and they were asking for the same treatment that they had before.
Okay. Second question goes on what Pam and Darren were asking. On these buildings, used to be, unless it was in the ground, you did not have to buy a permit. Like a lot of these sheds are on skids where you can move them around. I think Pam is asking, do you have to get a building permit for those now?
We have what's called an informational permit, and it is
If it's under 1,000 square foot.
100,000
If it's
square
under
feet.
1,000.
But we have, it's not an ordinance, it's a resolution. We've had some folks do whatever they want to do. And challenged us with, didn't get permits and didn't pay.
Okay, so if I was gonna buy a shed on skids and bring it in, I need to get one of those informational permits?
That's
So
our
you know
stance.
it's
That's-
coming?
Yeah,
What's
And
the
then we
fee on
turn-
that?
$25.
Okay, is there anything else, Kathy?
No, that was fine.
Motion for adjournment?
Okay, I had a question.
if we took a list of names. you would-
When did we start taking a list of names? Because I don't believe that that was actually discussed in the actual
You're out of
meeting.
order, ma'am,
If I
please.
make you mad,
Ma'am,
will you-
You're out of
I-
order.
What I'm
Ma'am,
asking,
I'm
it's-
telling you,
that's a violation of sunshine law. You guys never made a rule that you had to take our names.
I'm telling you, you're out of order.
I don't care if you think I'm out of order.
You please. be
No,
quiet.
I don't have to be quiet. The question is,
Officer,
if it is
I'm asking
a,
her to stop talking, she is
if-
disturbing the
if this is a
meeting.
public comments, when did you make the rule saying that you had to take our
It was in
names?
the last meeting,
In what fashion?
we'll stay and answer your questions, Diddy, but not as part of the meeting.
I wasn't here last minute. I didn't have a question until the question is about something you said that I wanted to ask. It's nothing to get upset about or
No, it's
cause
fine.
controversy
You
over.
come up and
through.
I'll answer your question, we're done.
Privately,
as long as you
JD,
want.
not in public.
Session, Doug,
We,
if you have one here.
we're not,
I'm
we're
sorry.
Go
we're not
ahead,
gonna have
and- go
one.
ahead and enjoy your meeting.
I just said there was.
I'm
Give them an opportunity to
We
speak.
can talk all they want when the meeting's over, they can go ahead and talk.
What's the difference? It's a simple question.
They don't
It's
have
okay,
your-
it's a sunshine violation because it violates
Then you go, please go file your charges.
I will,
Do it tonight.
I will.
So you as a supervisor again are inviting?
No, I am not. You, I'm
inviting-
state, JD, you talk all the time anyways.
I don't
That's
talk
his
all the
right
time.
as a citizen.
Ma'am, I'm telling you, you're out of order.
How
I'm
come
asking
I'm
you
out
to-
of order but nobody else
It's
is
a
out of
simple
order?
question.
I am addressing,
All you had to do is let me
I
ask
am
a simple
addressing him.
question. And I don't talk all the time, I wasn't here at the last meeting, and usually when I talk, it's for the betterment of the community, and it's a good valuable question and good input.
ask your question. Ask
So-
your question.
Simply wanted to ask, you said when Darren asked the question about the water authority, you
Yes.
said you would rather manage
Yes.
it yourself or sell.
That's
A
correct.
couple meetings ago, I missed the last
Yes.
meeting.
We are we
What?
are providing information right as we speak, gathering information for Pennsylvania American.
Okay.
Okay, and we'll let you know as that moves on. Right now, we're just in the information gathering stage.
Because
That's
you texted, for the solicitor to contact them, and then Tammy suggested that you also contact Wheeling,
And we
maybe
did,
they'd be
we did.
interested.
We contacted both,
And I think that was a good move.
yeah.
And the second question didn't come up till what Pam and Darren and Kathy all brought up. If the building she's talking about that's on a skid, if it,
I can't answer anything
He
about
just
it.
said he don't know about
I don't
that.
know.
It's coming back from the county.
what
I
I'm
don't
saying
know.
is, why would you need a building or a permit fee for something that's not on a tax basis? You know, if it doesn't get
We
taxed.
don't
when it
determine
is.
whether it's
It's
taxed or
taxed.
not.
Mine's not, ours aren't.
It shouldn't be taxed.
It
Ours
shouldn't.
aren't.
It
My
shouldn't.
taxes, I got them today, they went up $80.
That'd be like saying if you got a pod to store your
I-
furniture.
That's
in.
between you and the
Told me
county,
that
it's
you
not us.
insured it.
That's all. See how easy that was? Thank you.
I,
Is
Pam,
there
you know what
anything
they did?
valuable in there? Yeah.
Bob, you have something you wanna
Tractor
say?
parts,
Pardon me?
You have something you wanna say?
I have a question I wanna, when during the last meeting did you make it that you had to sign up to do this?
That was the chairman of the board made that decision.
When did you make it? In the meeting?
During the meeting, until he set it up. I'm gonna tell you.
When, last meeting or this meeting?
Ma'am,
In the last meeting, you never talked about that.
Yeah,
I'm not-
Dave did.
Dave
asked for
explained it
everybody's
during the
name.
last meeting, that he was gonna take names, and if you weren't on that list, you weren't going to be part of the public
We
comment.
thought it was for the whole thing.
can't
You
do
also
that.
made an agenda
They
that you
can't do it.
took the thing.
They can't do it, Bob.
It's real easy to resolve. From now on, every meeting, everybody. stands
Everybody's
up and
gonna
puts their
sign
name
up
on
and
the
put our
list.
name on the list. And if it takes 2 hours, we'll take 2 hours.
I move we adjourn.
One second.
Doug,
Yes.
Zach,
Pam,
Sir,
the meeting's over, I have maybe an answer to your question. When they came out and did my taxes, I have two buildings that I bought at the auction.
well, that's where I got mine.
Right.
Larry Jordan.
One, I set on blocks, and made it more of a permit, and one's still on the skids. One I actually leveled up, where that one's taxed, the one on the skids, it's just sitting there, making more taxes, because I can load it up at any time and move
You
it.
can take it off the blocks.
I can- Well, yeah, but that one's considered, the way it's set on the blocks, it was.
Yeah, well, Basically,
That would, but
Yeah.
what it comes down to, if you ask the person at the tax office, it's based on whoever came
At that time.
at that time to
well,
appraise.
of their meeting, that's what they said.
It's up
Do
to
you
your
actually
appraisers.
value those buildings? Yes. Are they insured? Yes, they're on
It's-
property, they're insured.
It's
Is
dumb.
there stuff in there that is insured? I said, yeah.
You could fight that.
Lawn tractors, there's weed whackers, there's
You could appeal that win.
Yeah,
There's no rule book
It's, but I can tell you,
for
it's
taxation.
probably
of
costing you
building.
about $7 or $8
There's no one to guarantee what it is.
on your real estate tax for the building per year. It's not,
it's
it's
not,
inconsequential amount of money.
yeah.
It's not worth the
But
appeal.
my question is,
No.
say you wanna bring in, 24 by 20 building on the back of a truck and set it there, and you're gonna use it for your tractor or something, or your
Well,
See,
carport
there,
or
that's,
something.
that falls, that's
Agricultural
under,
would be covered anyhow.
it's
That's
agricultural.
agriculture.
But you still gotta get it registered, $25.
No,
I think so.
The county
Yeah, you
is-
do.
the county
For
just want,
agriculture.
I
the county
think,
just,
So the
I think you still have to.
They
Get
got
the
it.
information.
That